What would you say if I told you you could have your dream body with no gym, no diets, and only minutes of exercise? What if I told you that it was actually more difficult and hard to live in a state where you are overweight, carrying 10, 20, 30, 40 pounds, that it's harder to carry that weight than it is to live a life in which that weight is not even capable of being on your body? And what if I told you it's not about you knowing your metabolism and not about knowing nutrition ins and outs or how your body works in depth? What if I told you it's a simple system and give you the steps and the answers today in this video? Would you take the time to pay attention? That's what it will cost you, your attention. Because this is the simplest system you can ever have, and the only system that really works, because everyone that is athletically inclined, living their dream life with their dream body, knows of this system, whether they can orate it or not. They are following it. The first way to get anything in creation, man was created in God's image, is imaging it, imagining it in your mind. This, no matter what strategy you have, and we're gonna go over strategy, which is way more simple than you could ever imagine. But if you have the best strategy and your state, meaning you are upset all the time, when your state is sadness, when your state is depression, when your state is overwhelmed, it's not going to work. When you're programmed to believe things like, it is my genetics, I'm genetically dispositioned to be overweight, or it's too hard to get fit. They don't have to work as hard as I do. I have to work way harder. When you believe those things, whether they're true or not, that makes your life so much more difficult, and it makes you stuck like Chuck in a broken pickup truck on the side of the road, heavy set, overweight, not wanting to walk. And there's no judgment here. I was not able to run around the block out of breath. It doesn't matter if you're overweight or underweight if you cannot move properly, freely, and run. Run. Every human, every animal runs. You are capable of running. Right now, you may not think so, and that is part of it. When you change the way you see yourself and identify yourself with activity, fitness, and food, things are going to change. Now, it's not your fault. What have you been fed all your life? And you're probably thinking of the standard American diet, right? Fast food, or Oreos, or Coca-Cola, or Doritos. There's probably some product that you have become identified with over the years. That is not your fault. That's literally what marketing is. They get us to identify with the product or service and then become a part of this community, this culture. So that's one of the first steps, is realizing that your indoctrination to certain foods, or your addiction to certain foods, slowly was fed and nurtured by corporate establishments. You may know that, yet what words are you saying about food and exercise? Like, I'm a meat and potato kind of guy, or I don't like the gym, or I don't work out, I don't like to be sweaty. Those statements are not yours. You learn those statements from other people again and again. Make sure the mic's on. Again and again, you are getting these thoughts into your head from other people's thoughts. You know what an amazing thing is that someone said the other day? This guy explaining why it's so easy to make millions. And he said he would read books and listen to audiobooks because he realized that, or he had an epiphany that when you listen and read those books, you are reading or listening to the thoughts of people who have done what you'd like to do, or have what you'd like to have, or behave like you'd like to behave. And when you listen and read those books enough, those thoughts of theirs start to become your thoughts. You start to have thoughts just like they have thoughts. And then it blossoms into greater and greater things because you start to create from those thoughts. Your brain is not the same every day, it changes. You have amazing, more neurons in your brain than stars in the Milky Way galaxy. Your programming is essential to the next step, which is strategy, because your programming dictates your story and your state. Your state, how you feel, your story, what you're saying about yourself all the time, how you're deriving meaning from everything that you're seeing. And how do we derive meaning? We do it with words. Words create your world. So when you are using words like, oh, this is a torture chamber when you're working out, you are not going to work out. Working out must be like euphoric, orgasmic. Arnold Schwarzenegger would say working out was orgasmic. He would never miss a workout. Would you miss a workout if you phrased it in such a way where it's one of the greatest parts of your day? How can you make a workout one of the greatest parts of your day? Well, first off, is not thinking in terms of like workout, that's horrible. Workout is also lifting a sweet child above head and being able to praise a grandchild when you're older, right? Or lifting up, your child, right? It's not just about, like, that was one of the greatest commercials. He was training with a kettlebell to lift it up so that this old man could lift up his granddaughter to the Christmas tree to put an ornament on. It could be just 1 millisecond, one moment that you're reaching for of ability, because most people in the United States over 60 can hardly lift their hand over their head, and they certainly can't lift weight over their head, because it's like 8 pounds is like the limit for most people. That's only a gallon of water. There's no shame or blame going on here. That gets you no further. If you feel the emotion of any negative emotion, whether it's shame or blame, do your best to not intellectualize it and try and like rationalize it. Just feel the feeling. Don't suppress it. Feel the feeling. That's what meditation is for. You go through all those feelings, and then you get to the point where after you feel the feelings, they ain't gonna attack you anymore. But if you keep on resisting the feelings, they will come and persist. Resist is in many ways. One, constantly working, or eating, or doing, or talking. Sit, be still, let those feelings process, and that will get you to be able to implement a strategy. Because right now, how are you going to implement a strategy when your stress level is this high? It's only that high because you are suppressing feelings. Feel the feelings, let them go through, and after you feel the feelings, you can start to tap into the cosmic consciousness, to the God inside of you, because God is inside of your heart. The kingdom of God is inside of you. The kingdom of heaven is inside. And once you get free from all those feelings that you asked yourself to feel, you created situations, people, places, and things so that you will feel those feelings. That's what projecting is. You create everything around you. Accept it. Be aware of it. Accept it with appreciation, no matter how horrible it seems, because this is all a dream. So when you start to understand and accept. You don't even have to understand it, actually. Just understand that you got to accept it and accept the feeling. Let that go through you, and then start writing a whole new notebook of what your dreams are. How do you want your body to look? How do you want it to feel? How would you like it to function? How would you like your day to be? If you're at a place 8 hours every day that you can't stand, then start to implement a plan. First, figure out what would you like, instead of hating what you do or knowing what you don't like. That's a good step. Yet, take the next step. What is your dream? You can't live your dream if you can't describe it and orate it, speak it into existence, which you're speaking into existence because you're creating, not because it's just magically going to happen, but you're creating the world in which you would like. When you create the world in what you would like, I'm not going to say want. It might sound even more flowy, but when you create the world in which you would like, then, at least in words, then you could create it in a physical reality. But first you got to be able to describe your eating to create it. Describe how your relationships are, how you are with your relationships, not just how they are. Describe where you're living. Describe what job you have, how much money you have coming in. Dream big or live small. And if that dream feels way too outrageous, then sure, you keep it written, but do a smaller version of it so you could have a stepping stone to that higher version. Now, let's get into fitness strategy and nutrition strategy, because I know that's what you're here for and you think that's all that matters. But the first step is the most essential step, because if you could identify yourself with a person who loves to eat healthy, and you could have the belief in your head that eating healthy, fruits and vegetables, whole foods, beans and mushrooms, a little bit of nuts and seeds, that mainly fruits and vegetables, to keep it really simple. And if that's so far from your reality, you can't imagine, what do you mean by fruits and vegetables? Grab your favorite fruit and eat it. And when you get to the point when you could actually eat that fruit as like a meal with some vegetables, wow, you're starting to tap into nature, because that's what would be offered, like fruit that you could see it being on a tree. That's the closest thing to the most that is the most unrefined food that you could eat. There's no fire to it. There is no cooking to it. There is no seasoning. There is no need to change it in any way. You just pick it and eat it. That is my proof, along with the millions of studies showing that not eating enough fruit kills millions of people every year. Fruits and vegetables. I specifically say fruit because you might want to eat it a little more, because it has that dandy thing that gets you to eat it, called sugar, which is attached to that dandy thing called fiber, which is only found in whole plant foods. It's not found in meats and cheese and eggs and refined food, which most Americans eat like all day long. So when you eat those fruits and you eat the right amount, like 10 plus every day, and vegetables, you are going to start flowing and releasing things out of your body that you did not know were there, and you will feel amazing, incredible, because going to the bathroom should be a pleasant, pleasurable, joyous, releasing experience, not a painful one. I did not know that for 2 to 3 decades of my life, and then I started eating tons of fruits and vegetables, and instead of throwing up once a week, I could now have a nice hooper duper 2 to 3 times a day, at least once a day, at least. And if I eat something, or my 9-year-old son, since he was 5, eats something that didn't have enough of that luscious fiber to assist in the process of digestion, he and I both know quickly. And it brought such joy to me. It was like confirmation that this is the way of eating. No diet, just eat 10 or more fruits and vegetables. And I'm talking more like 30 for a grown man that's moving around, or a grown woman. Maybe a little less for the grown woman, because the grown man usually is bigger size-wise and weighs a bit more. But if the grown woman, or if you're a female and you're 6 foot tall, you might need 20 fruits every day. And I'm not saying to eat tons of other food. That is the main source of your food. I know, it's insane. Where's my protein from? I need so much meat. These are all fad diets. You eat more than enough protein every day. If you eat any type of animal product, you most likely are eating more than enough protein, and that's from stats. You could look up how much protein you need instead of being infatuated with getting more protein. The thing that really throws us off when we say to eat more protein is that's not a food, that is a nutrient. We have 6 classes of nutrients: carb, fat, and protein. And then we have 3 that are non-caloric: vitamin, mineral, and water. I'm not going to get deep into nutrition right here. I just would like to understand the totality of it. The simplicity of, wow, that's refined foods we're supposed to stay away from. What's the furthest from refined food? It is whole food. What's the wholest food we could ever have without adding nothing on it and it tastes like one of the best things we've ever eaten if we eat it from the tree? It's fruit. Now, find fruit in season that is delicious, otherwise it will be suspicious. You won't want it. And if you have the right fruit, you got ammunition, because you are prepared. Preparation is ammunition in this war going on that no man is safe from. When you go outside and you can eat food that has artificial ingredient and all, I'm not going to scaremonger you. It's just insane that we really put in our mouth all these food-like substances that have been studied to make people rich, because it gets us addicted to the food. Not in no conspiracy. Just look at how they design the food. They have chemists designing food-like substances, drips and drops, that taste in a way where we have stimulation all throughout our brain. All those neurons that are more stars than the Milky Way, they're all getting stimulated. You have endorphins coming in your body. Don't let your body control your mind. Let your mind control your body, or your body will enslave you. What do I mean by enslave you? Well, when I went for a walk yesterday with a friend of mine, and we walked a half mile, which he made me promise that it was only a half mile because of his conditions. Kidney disease, heart disease. Like most Americans, you can't even do what you need to do to prevent what's going on, because you're at such a stage that you can't do much. And I get it, but you can walk. So we walked a half mile, right? It's only a few minutes. It's about 10 minutes. And I show him where these bricks are, and I pick up a brick. He's like, I'm not picking one of those up. I said, you already are holding 2 of them. What do you mean you're not picking one up? I carry it back. He's holding 2 bricks the whole time. I chose one because 2 was heavy. I didn't want to rip my shirt holding it too. Y'all are carrying around massive weight. Big up to you. That is why it's so much harder to carry around even 10 pounds every day, all day, than to move a little weight. And I'm not talking about doing dumbbell curls or even overhead press, even though those are great, with some 10-pound weights. Talking about no need for no gym, no need for no equipment. Your workouts are simple. Right now, if you've made it this far, you are most likely not conditioned so well. If you're conditioned and you could go for a walk for an hour, awesome. Now is about the programming so you actually do it. Because if your beliefs are strong enough, your behavior will follow. What? If your beliefs are strong enough, your behavior will follow. What do I mean by that? Well, you have beliefs because your thoughts come and then you link it with emotion. You attach a lot of emotion to a thought like, ugh, I don't want to walk, and somehow someone at some time got you to think that that's a horrible thing to move. Or it's an awesome thing, yet they got you to think that work is a better thing and you need to do it all the time because you need money more than you need to move. Wrong. You got this. When you're meditating, you will be still, let those feelings process, and then you're going to write down your goals. Your goals are going to start to align with new beliefs. What are you feeding yourself? Remember I asked you, what are you feeding yourself? What are you feeding yourself the information? What are they saying? Are you around people, places, and things, or watching media that is constantly talking about alcohol or smoking or eating ridiculous foods and glorifying them, that they are the ultimate pleasure, aka like hedonism? Don't let your body control your mind, right? It's okay to enjoy things, yet things are not where you derive your happiness from. Pleasure, yes. Happiness is here, my friend. And when you really have a goal that is so good, you could taste it, that it's so specific, it's so measurable, it's so attainable and realistic and time bound, and you put your senses with it so you could taste, touch, hear, and feel it, you are just going to start changing the way you behave. Your goal is not good enough. That's why you're not being good enough. Because your goal right now may be, just want to get through the day. Let me have some pizza, some chips. Let me have this energy drink. Let me have coffee. Coffee is your goal in the morning. And I get it. We go through those things. It's not about feeling guilt. It's about feeling the feelings. So it might be guilt. Feel it, yet don't hold on to it, and then create. You're here to create. You're here to create, which starts in the image. God created us to create. We are creators. What are you creating? You can create a dream life and do whatever you want, whenever you want, however you want, have whatever you want. It is insane how easy it is to live a dream life. Yet if I had the ability, like I do, to do whatever I want, whenever I want, however I want, at any time I want, and I didn't have this body to enjoy it, oh my Lord, would I cry. And there are some times where I don't feel like moving. And that's okay, that's a rest day. There are some times where I don't feel like doing much. Yet, my beliefs change all that to not last so long anymore. Because I used to go days and days, I never exercised for the first 2 decades of my life and wasn't very active. Activity is hard to abstain from, yet we Americans can actually do that. Activity is just fun, playing some hoops, walking, like talking, farming, playing racquetball. Like there are so many great activities. That's part of your strategy, right? We have a small strategy going on. You remember what it is? Of course, first is you change your beliefs. You may need to watch that small segment of this video over again about changing your beliefs and relaxing and feeling the feelings. Number 2 is eating 10 plus fruits and vegetables a day and understanding why, like how simple it is and how delicious they are, and making sure that you find delicious, seasonal, ripe fruit. Learn how to eat fruit. A lot of people don't know how a ripe fruit is. Find a farmer's market, ask, talk to people, not just the guy at the market or girl at the market, also the person buying a lot of fruit. Ask them how do you tell it's ripe? What's your favorite fruit? Where do you get other fruit? If you could pick fruit from a tree, it's going to change the way you see. I'm going to tell you that right now. You're not going to see a fruit the same if you start to get in a relationship with fruits and the energy that they give you to be able to move, which is number 3. got to start moving at some time. It doesn't have to be right away. Yet once you change that belief, your behavior is going to change. So write down your top 100 activities that you'd love to do. Breakdance, boogie board, surf. What is it? Tap dance. Like, there's so many amazing activities. Some of them may exert a lot more, like rowing, right? Or running versus tap dance or ballet, backgammon. You know, some of them are not going to release as many calories, but that's not the point. It's not about like what's the best. It's about what's the best for you that you will do, because the best won't do if you don't do it. It's do. Just find something you will do and do it. And you're active for an hour. Those, where do we go? 4, right? 3? Those 3 alone, because that was mine, right? Food, fruit, right? Meditate, 10 plus fruits and veggies. Change your beliefs, 10 plus fruits and veggies. Really go more than that. And then we got move for an hour a day. Fun stuff. You're writing down 100 plus activities so that it's just like, oh my gosh, I got to do it. It's too fun. This is so fun. I get to do it. That's how we're doing this. That's why it's forever. That's why this is the only system that works. There's a bit more details if you'd like hand-to-hand help with all of this, like I've done with thousands of other people. But if you'd like the full-blown help, head-to-head, hand-to-hand, not combat, we do it lovingly here with gratitude at OG Fit. You could check out ogfit.com and you could apply to work with me. I only work with a handful of people all the time, because I don't just give them like, what's your diet, what's your exercise. It's personalized, and we figure out exactly what to do to work this system into your life. Whether you're working, like one of my clients, 6-figure, doesn't have time, won't even create a meeting with me on a regular basis, and I just am calling him as much as possible. That's the way it worked for him, right? And it works. He hasn't even started exercise yet, and it works. He's changing his lifestyle. So you got this movement, and this is activity, not exercise. Exercise is the next step. That's the sweet organic cherry on the amazing, wonderful fruit sundae, right? This is where it's at. And it only takes minutes. You don't need no gym. You don't need no diets. All you're doing is, watch me now. Boop. Boop. That's it, right? Some squats, right? Some push-ups. I know that sounds really hard now. Just do one. Just hold the plank. You're doing minutes. 1 minute a day. Literally, it's going to change your life. It's ridiculous. No one believes it because it's so simple, but the people that do believe it don't really need it no more because they're doing it. But you, my friend, if you believe you can achieve, just conceive this. 1 to 10 minutes a day is going to change your life, because you don't want it much more than that. Exercise is supposed to be intense, hard enough that you can't do it much longer. Walking is great. You're supposed to be able to do that for a while, 5,000, 10,000 steps a day. But when we talk about squats, we don't want to do 5,000 squats a day. I mean, that's for higher advanced levels yet. We're just shooting. They're not as efficient when we do that many. We're shooting to do only 1 to 20. And once you can do 1 to 20, which is under a minute, then we make it a little more challenging. So it's a little more intense. You gotta be like, ugh. Yet, you don't have to do it for so long. You know the great thing about is it gets all that stress out. It helps you let go of that stress and process that stress, just like when you process and feel your feelings. You get to let out what your body needs to let out. There ain't no animals that don't and just move and run and push and fight and struggle. Our fight or flight, the natural way physically, has been taken away, thankfully. Yet now we are in fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, and we have many ways to deal with fear. So before you feel all that anxiety and fear, You go for a run and you get to like tap it out because you're running from the tiger that we were programmed to run from. And you could also do it with squats, with push-ups, with pull-ups, with dips, with handstands. I know it seems like a lot. Just start with some squats and some plank. Y'all know what squat and plank is. Sit in a chair and stand up. Do that for a minute. If that's hard, that's even better. Work on that for months until it's easy. No pain, man. No pain, queen. No pain. Don't go through any pain. Oh my Lord, how much information this was. If you could take this information in and actually use it, because this is not for informational purposes, it's for transformational purposes. Did you hear that? This is not for informational purposes. This is for transformational purposes, to transform your life like someone that is irrecognizable. Yeah, you're gonna die because you gotta let your old self die to let your new self begin. Don't fear an unknown heaven and live in a known hell. And that's what most of us do. We're so comfortable. We don't want to step into the unknown. We're okay here, even if it's in an abusive racial relationship and we're getting beat. Even if we're alcoholic and we're beating ourselves, drinking ourselves to death, our bodies are just designed to be hedonists and we want to consume and engulf. But your mind is more powerful than all that, my friend. Your mind can control your body. And when your mind controls your body, you're not a slave anymore. You're free to do what you'd like. Create an affirmation now. Let's finish on an affirmation. I am healthy, happy, strong, love, and gratitude. I am healthy, happy, strong, love, and gratitude. What we got here? I am the infinite potential of greatness. I am ogfit.com. Go to ogfit.com right now. Check me out. Subscribe, smash that like, share it, because you know someone else can feel it. Bless up. You are amazing. Thank you.